Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to break down some absolutely fascinating source material that dives deep into the hidden psychological dynamics of attraction, breakups, and just human behavior in general. I mean, if you've ever wondered why the dynamic of a relationship seems to completely flip the absolute second you stop trying so hard, well, you are in the right place. We're going to map out the complex emotional games we often play without even realizing it. So get ready, because this is a deep dive into the psychology of letting go. Okay, let's dive into this. The source material asks a really powerful question right out of the gate. Why does a woman return only when you stop loving her? It's kind of a bitter reality of human nature, right? And it's the central paradox we're unpacking today. Because honestly, it sounds entirely counterintuitive. You'd naturally think that showing more affection would get you more affection in return. But as you'll see, the exact opposite is true. Romantic interest is often mysteriously reignited not by your constant presence, but by your sudden absence.
And the material outlines a few bitter truths about all this. First up, chasing kills attraction. Literally, when you pursue someone relentlessly, trying to prove your worth or convince them to stay, it actually pushes them further away. It doesn't matter how good looking you are, how wealthy you are, or how much chemistry you guys share. The moment you start desperately chasing, the whole picture changes. You go from being seen as a prize to being seen as someone just begging for attention.
All right, Section 1, Giving too much importance kills attraction. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what the source means by that problem. Think about two distinct behaviors, and a trap we see people fall into all the time: giving away way too much of your own identity. On one hand, you've got the available guy. He texts 24/7, abandons his own life, and is just always at their beck and call. Being that available actually makes you lose value in a partner's eyes. It makes your presence feel suffocating instead of special. On the flip side, the high-value guy is focused on his goals. He's mysterious, he's confident, and he highly values his own time. That behavior naturally creates respect. Human nature basically dictates that things we get too easily, well, they gradually lose their value. The text specifically points out behaviors that actively destroy your value. Things like sending massive emotional paragraphs, calling day and night, or dropping your own personal work just to be available. Now, you might feel like these are the ultimate acts of love, right? But psychologically speaking, the text argues that these actions actually strip away the challenge and uncertainty that attraction needs to survive. It signals that you have no world outside of them, which is a fatal flaw. There's this really powerful metaphor from the text to drive this point home. It asks, does the lion in the jungle ever go to the deer and say, please don't run away from me? Absolutely not. A lion commands respect simply through its presence, its patience, and its quiet strength. It doesn't beg. And the source argues this exact same principle applies to human attraction. The less you chase and beg, the more natural respect and magnetic pull you command. Moving right along to Section 2, distance creates intense curiosity. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is what actually happens psychologically when you stop being so overly available. The text defines curiosity as being born from uncertainty, absence, and a lack of predictability, not from you constantly showing up and declaring your feelings. When you finally step back, stop calling, and just kind of disappear into your own world, it forces the other person to stop taking you for granted. Suddenly, they have to wonder, wait, why did he stop paying attention to me? Have I lost him? And the source gives us this fascinating chronological timeline of how the power shifts. Day 1 is usually begging and long texts. But by week 2, you start practicing detachment, maybe hitting the gym. By month 1, she notices the complete silence and really starts wondering why. And by month 6, that's when you get the inevitable, I've been thinking about you text. It's not magic, guys. It's simply the predictable result of shifting the power dynamics over time. Which brings us to Section 3, the real game of emotional control. The source makes a really strong argument here about power dynamics. It says tolerating bad behavior to keep someone isn't love, it's weakness masquerading as loyalty. Romantic relationships are heavily influenced by who holds the emotional control. Constantly being the one to text first or dropping everything for a call isn't this profound act of love. It's a vulnerability. And people quickly recognize that vulnerability. Once they realize they have complete emotional control over you, the respect and consequently their attraction drops pretty fast. So why do they come back? Section 4. Returns out of ego, not love. So the crucial point is, when an ex reaches out after months of silence, the source calls this the ego check. It's usually not a genuine romantic reconciliation of true love. It's a psychological mechanism. They're reaching out to test the waters, basically to see if they still control your emotions and to check if you're still just waiting on standby for them.
Ah, the classic "I've been thinking about you" message. The source identifies this seemingly sweet text as an absolute trap. It's usually triggered because their ego just can't handle the fact that you're out there happy, going to the gym, and thriving without them. It's an attempt to regain that control they feel is slipping away. To make this perfectly clear, let's walk through the stark differences the text outlines between genuine affection and an ego-driven need for validation. True love is all about consistency, loyalty, and ongoing effort. An ego trip? Well, that features leaving when they feel bored, returning only when you pull away, and constantly testing your boundaries to see if you'll still bend to their will. The major takeaway here is to not get those two things confused. And that brings us to the final, most empowering part. Section 5. The man who moves forward wins. Let's move to and see how this builds into an actual solution. The source provides a very concrete roadmap to radical detachment. Step 1, stop begging and texting immediately. Step 2, channel your frustration intensely into the gym and your physical health. Step 3, pivot your focus toward building your career and your wealth. And Step 4, step outside your comfort zone, experience new things, and meet new people. These steps are non-negotiable for regaining your self-respect.
But here's a vital distinction the text makes. Detachment isn't a tactic to punish someone else. It's a strategy to elevate yourself. You're not playing some vindictive, manipulative game to get revenge on an ex. The true goal is to genuinely rediscover your own inherent value, completely independent of anyone else's approval. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, strictly for yourself. And honestly, the source shares a pretty harsh truth here. Waiting around for an ex is not loyalty. It is weakness. Lingering in the past, checking their social media, putting your life on hold, all of that destroys your self-confidence. It actively robs you of future opportunities and keeps you emotionally paralyzed. Which leads to this powerful concluding thought from the text. The man who moves forward wins. True victory isn't about whether or not your ex texts you back 6 months from now. True victory means using the pain of heartbreak as raw fuel for discipline and personal evolution. The winner is the one who simply refuses to stay stuck. So, what does this all mean for you? Having explored the intricate psychology of detachment, the power of pulling away, and the truth behind why people return, you're left with a final challenge. Will you stay trapped in the memories of the past, letting your energy drain away, or will you choose to take back your emotional control, move forward, and win? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope these insights empower you to focus on your own personal growth. Catch you next time and keep moving forward.